Welcome to Vysh Courses YouTube channel and to the series of current updates. In this video, we are going to discuss about the topic called China's GDP growth slowdowns to 4%. Okay. Before discussing more details about this topic, let me remind you to subscribe to this channel, like the video and share this video among your friends and give your feedback in the comment box. With this note, let's start the video. So if you see the top news, that is Nikkei Asia, it says that China's GDP growth slows to 4% in Q4, that is quarter 4, because of the COVID situation and the property wars that are occurring in China. And if you see the global times, China's GDP grows at 8.1% in 2021. This is fastest in nearly a decade. So you can China is in a situation like so it can't be it is happy because China's GDP grows at 8.1 in 2021. This is fastly in a decade, and it should be sad because China's GDP growth slows to 4% in quarter 4 because of the COVID. So the quarter growth got decreased, but the yearly growth got increased. So it is in a mid situation where it cannot be happy with it, where it cannot be totally sad also. So if you see more details about this topic, actually what happened is China economy grew at the slowest pace in 1.5 years in the fourth quarter. Okay. So if you see in India, the quarters will be counted like April 1st will be a financial year start in India. But in China, what happens, it is actually following the British calendar, that is it starts its quarter from January itself. So in the fourth quarter, so if you see the estimates, China economy grew at the slowest pace in 1.5 year in the fourth quarter. So it is because of the property downturn and the debt and the curbs on debt and strict COVID measures that are held in the China. So this is raising heat on the policy makers to roll out the easing steps. Okay, China's GDP growth slowed down to 4% in the year in the fourth quarter of 2021, but the full year result was 8.1% growth. So if you see the graph of this, in 2012, if you see, it is 7.9, and then it got decreased to 7.8 and 7.4, 6.9 in this way. But in 2021, again its growth is 8.1, which is good. Okay, it is good, but if you see from last quarter to this quarter, the growth got decreased. So but the number for October to December decelerated from 4.9 growth, okay, achieved in the previous 3 months. It is hitting the weakest level since 3.2% seen in the COVID marred second quarter of 2020. So you can see in this graph, so this is the fourth quarter, so it got decreased to 4. This is similar to the second quarter, 3.2 in the last year, in the 2020. So after 2020 second quarter, this is the first time after it that it is showing this much less growth. Okay. So on the quarterly basis, the economy grew a modest 1.6% in the final term of 2021. So the country's total GDP in 2021 reached, if you see in the numbers, 114.37 trillion yuan, according to the data released by the National Bureau of Statistics. Okay, in 2021, China's GDP per capita was around $12,551 according to the National Bureau of Statistics. It is nearing that of a high income country as defined by the World Bank and overtaking the global average GDP per capita also. So if you see the challenges in Chinese economy, this is the world's second largest economy, okay, which cooled over the course of last year. It has faced multiple headwinds in 2022, because of which it has cooled down, including the persistent property weaknesses that are occurring in China and the fresh challenges because of the Omicron variant. Okay, in a sign of continued concerns among the consumers also, retail sales added just 1.7% in China in December year on year basis if you calculate. So this is the slowest rate in the 14 months. So if you see the exports also got decreased because of the travel restrictions and because of the Omicron crisis presently. Exports, which were on the few areas of strength in 2021, are also expected to slow, while the government is seen continuing its clampdown on the industrial emissions also. It is working upon the industrial emissions because globally it got like many countries are aiming for reducing the industrial emissions, and even China is initially did not focus on it, but now it is trying to focus on reducing the industrial emissions also. China's zero COVID policy, if you see this China's zero COVID policy, it is aimed at controlling the pandemic prompted travel restrictions within the country. So this is including the lockdown of Xi'an city in the central China in the last December. In January, other cities were also locked down in full or partially to control pockets of outbreaks because of the Omicron variant. So analysts started to question whether the benefits of China's zero COVID strategy outweigh the cost. So the cost benefit ratio is not very good according to some analysts. So here they have given how contagious and potentially less fatal the Omicron variant is, and putting these kind of restrictions is not good, they are saying. Goldman Sachs cut it as forecast is saying that China's 2020 GDP growth based on expectations that zero COVID policy will cause increased restrictions on the business activity, because of which economy will still hurt for the China. However, the analyst said that the greatest impact would be on the consumer spending. So consumer will not have much money in their hands to spend. So analysts saw a possibility that the central bank will cut the rate on its medium term lending facilities, that is MLF will be cut down. So this is the first measure it took. So with this it want to inject more liquid, that is more liquid into the people, so that they will spend, the spending capacity of the people gets increased. So on Monday also the central bank added to the pattern of easing by cutting the 1 year policy loans rate 10 basis points to 2.85%. And even the policy makers have also pledged to step up fiscal support for the economy, speeding up the local government's special bond issuance in order to spur the infrastructure investment and planning more tax cuts. Okay, if you see the Chinese government step last year, it enabled a drive towards so-called common prosperity. It is highlighting the willingness to close the inequality gap. It is working on the inequality gap at the expense of the economic growth. So it want to reduce the inequality gap in order to improve its economic growth. So Beijing also introduced policies in order to reduce the inequalities and reduce the leverage at its real estate developers, where they got they were largely affected last year. If you see for 2022, the International Monetary Fund projects that China's annual economic growth will decelerate to 4.9%. So this is the estimation of IMF. So this is all about today's news. So I hope so you have enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Do subscribe, like, share and comment, and Jai Hind.